Well, let's head down and let's welcome aboard right now the Mets manager, Luis Rojas, who joins us now. Hey, Luis, Mark Malusis, Maggie Gray. Thanks for a couple minutes this morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys, Maggie and Moose. An honor to be, your show, and, looking forward to meet you in person soon.
Yeah, Luis down in the dugout, Moose and I up here in
Yep.
the press box, and believe me, the pleasure is ours, and we appreciate you taking some time out. We know you don't have a ton of time this morning, so let's dive into the baseball, shall we? Just looking at your lineup for today, Jeff McNeil hitting leadoff. I'm curious, Luis, how are you going to decide between a McNeil, between Brandon Nimmo, between Ahmed Rosario, about who is going to bat leadoff for this club?
We're not there yet. I mean, obviously, we have, you mentioned a couple of names that are, they're profiled to be hitting the leadoff spot for us in the lineup, but, we're not defined yet as far as that. I mean, we're going to throw the guys out there. They're taking their at-bats, and, the sooner we get the 2 to 3 at-bats they need, we've been pulling them out of the game and then bringing, the rest of the guys to play the second half of the games to keep them fresh throughout the sprint. So once we hit the 7 innings playing mark and the whole game, that they're going to be able to play, and we're closing into the season, then we'll probably have more defined roles. But right now we haven't had a defined role to be our planted leadoff hitter.
Luis, how is your first camp here as a major league manager? How's it going so far?
Well, first of all, it's been fun, like so much fun. I mean, just familiar faces and a great coaching staff, that I'm surrounded with. So it's been fun. I mean, we've kept it light here, and great communication from really early in the day. I mean, we start connecting, talking about what we're going to do, and anticipating some of the fundamentals that we're going to implement in camp. So it's been really fun. It's been just watching the guys just progress into the innings, the at bats, everything they need to do out here. As we started playing games, already a couple of weeks ago. So it's been great, and can't wait to keep it going. Can't wait to keep ramping up the guys, and also to get back some of the guys that had a little bit of a stop because of minor injuries or setbacks, like Seth and JD, that's already doing some baseball activity. So, we'll see them in action, soon as well.
Oh, great. So any more updates on those guys' timetables, or you just want to say soon?
Yeah, I want to say just soon. The timeline, it's we'll reassess with that. But Seth is throwing a sim game tomorrow. So, that's probably a step closer to seeing him in games. Betances has been throwing sim games as well. I mean, there's no timeline where he's going to be in game. But the sim games is a huge step for those guys, and JD is doing his baseball activity, so we'll see when he'll be able to participate as well. So no timeline, but they're moving great right now forward.
That's great to hear. We're talking with Luis Rojas. Speaking of Seth Lugo, we got some reports that maybe the Mets are touring with the idea about using an opener or maybe getting creative. Seth Lugo is one of those guys, Luis, that was so locked down for you last year, and he was just so important to that bullpen and pitching those really high leverage innings later in games. Is that someone you would be in favor of maybe moving to an opener role, and how do you think Seth would feel about that?
Yeah, once again, we're not defining roles. We're just using Seth right now in a bullpen role, and we have different conversations. And the funny thing, I saw Seth in the minor leagues as a starter, and repertoire, everything, how he played as a starter, and then watching Seth just being successful out of the bullpen, and probably our most successful pitcher out of the bullpen last year. That's how we see him. So it's such a valuable piece for us in the pen, and just can't wait to see him perform in games now. Once we start progressing him in games, and when we move closer into the season, that's where we're going to start defining the roles and what the guys can expect. As far as the role is going to be and how they're going to be used in games.
Luis, when you look at the back end of that starting rotation, do you look at it as 3 guys between Waka, Porcello, and Matz for 2 spots, or do you look at it as 2 guys for 1 spot with Porcello as being your number 4 starter?
Yeah, but we're also not there yet. I mean, it's no secret who our number 1's going to be. Probably, yes. But we have 6 starters. I mean, 6 guys with so much experience and playoff experience, World Series experience, and you name it. And right now we're really enjoying watching them perform. They all throw the ball really well in the sprint, and they're taking some of the things that they've been working closely with our pitching coach, Jeremy Hefner, and the assistant pitching coach, Jeremy Accardo. And they're doing a great job transferring into the game. So, not only from the repertoire standpoint, but also from the controlling the running game standpoint. Something that we've haven't been really good at it in the past, and the guys are doing a great job. So, our 6 starters that we have, they're all doing a great job just transferring the work that they're putting in the sides and the work that they're putting in the backfields into the games.
We just are watching your presumed number 1 throwing long toss in the outfield, Jacob deGrom. We're talking with Luis Rojas. To Pete Alonso for a moment, Luis, what are you telling him about what he should expect in year 2 from the opposition?
Yeah, it's Pete. Pete is just some of the things that he's doing. He's working on his routine. I mean, is developing a new routine where he controls a little bit more the workload that he does prior to a game. I mean, Pete's always been an overworker, person that, goes the extra mile to keep improving his game. He's done it in the past, but we also want him to save the energy. So he's working on sharpening that a little, better from the defensive standpoint and from the offensive standpoint. And, that's the process that a player like Pete goes through, and coming off of a great year right now, we're not going to set any goals, any mark on him. And, we want him to just do that routine, prepare, and then everything's going to take care of his own and, be the great presence that he's going to be for our team. And I think that, he's right now in a good place where we want him to be.
Luis, Met fans are excited when they're watching Cespedes hitting bomb after bomb after bomb, and when he's in that batting cage. I know you have not placed expectations on him, and he's working with the training staff and the like, but, he's a motivated player. We know that, and he wants to get back on the field. Realistically, though, when you look at Cespedes this year, how important of a player do you look at him in terms of the success for this team this year?
Well, he's the value that Cesc brings. It's incredible. I mean, right now he's still in this progression. He's working with our performance staff every day, and he's ramping it up every day. He's facing live pitching. He's not fully running the bases yet. So there's some things that he hasn't done. And what I respect the most out of Cesc is just how he sets goals for himself and he goes after them. I mean, he's the first guy in the complex. He's the first player in this complex every day. Good portion of the coaching staff is here really early in the spring, and Cesc is along with the rest of the coaching staff at that time, just working in the gym, getting himself prepared to go through the day. And ever since the first day of the spring, he's just been showing up at that time and working hard, and his shape has just gotten better, by the day, and then his progression's gotten better by the day. So no timeline on him, returning, but the moment that happens, I mean, for sure it'd be of so much value. I mean, you could foresee, a dangerous lineup, a dangerous middle of the lineup, with guys that have the ability of getting on base, and a guy like Cesc, that can drive the ball and driving runs, take quality at bats and can do so many things on the field. So, looking forward for when that happens. Just right now he's still in the progression with the performance staff.
Well, as we see your team take the field to stretch, Luis, we know we have to let you go. Thank you so much for the time you did carve out for us today. We know it's a busy day. Good luck today against the Cardinals, and we'll talk to you down the line.
Thanks, Luis.
Thank you so much, Maggie and Moose. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon.
Yep, we'll see you soon.